Hey guys, this video is for our 2nd through 4th grade leaders for September, and it's technically week 2 of September, but we are starting our curriculum with week 1 because this is our first week that everyone has moved up in age group, and last week was just kind of a filler for Labor Day. So even though it's the second weekend of September, we're starting as September week 1 in Oak Ridge Kids. So our theme for the month is dirty jobs. Somebody's got to do it, and our life app is initiative, seeing what needs to be done and doing it. So this week we start with the story of Nehemiah. We're going to be talking about Nehemiah all month long. And this week Nehemiah hears about the wall that needs to be built. And our bottom line is, be on the lookout for what needs to be done. And our memory verse for this month is, work at everything you do with all your heart. Work as if you were working for the Lord. Colossians 3:23. So kind of a long one this month, but they can definitely get it. So then for your leader guides, we talked about this at our volunteer kickoff last week, but really make sure that you're here at 8:30 and 10:30. You're going to pray together for your small group kids in the morning, just for Oak Ridge kids in general, and then you're going to be praying for each other. So whoever is your lead for that morning will be kicking that off at 8:30 and 10:30 to just pray. Then when kids start to roll in at 8:40 and 10:40, you're going to, as they join your circle, ask about their week. Make sure you know everybody's name. And then make any new students definitely feel as welcome as possible. So then for a little icebreaker, just ask kids about a time when they saw something that needed to be done and they did it without being asked. Did anyone notice that they did it, and what was the reaction that they got? And then challenge them to imagine how their parents or grandparents might react if they cleaned up their room without being asked. What would they do? And then if you have some extra time still to kill, you can have kids take turns changing something in the rooms, or even just changing something on themselves while everybody else in your group closes their eyes.
You just take every room?
I'm done in that room now. Sorry, you're normally in that room. I did that first in there. And then ask everybody to open their eyes and try to figure out what's different in the room. Then when service starts at 9 and 11, you're going to do an activity called Let Me See. So by your small group cart on the floor, you have a little tray. Don't let kids get into this at the beginning of service, and it's covered with a couple of napkins. And what you're going to do is you're going to bring out the tray, and you're going to tell kids that they have 30 seconds to remember as many things as they can from the tray. And then you're going to uncover it, give kids 30 seconds, and then you're going to pass out paper and pencil to each kid and have them write a list of all the things that they remember being on the tray. And then uncover the tray and see who is able to remember the most things. And then if time allows, you can take something off the tray and see if kids can figure out which item you took off. You can add something new to the tray and see if they can tell what's new, and you could give kids a chance to do that too. So just to quickly show you, it's just a bunch of random things on the tray. That's what they'll be seeing. So that's what they need to try to memorize, and you can play the game with that. So then you'll close out by saying, wow, I'm amazed at how good your guys' powers of observation are. Today in large group, we're going to hear about someone who noticed something very important. So then you'll head across the hall to large group. Just like always, make sure that you sit with your group, help them to worship and listen to the story. When you get back to your room at 8:40 and 10:40, you're going to do an activity called Let Me Help. So what you're going to do is you're going to use your phone just for music. And you've got these paper plates. The kids don't have to do this. This will already be done for you. You're going to divide your kids into 2 teams. One team is going to be the red team, and one team is going to be the green team. And then you've got 20 paper plates. 10 of them have green X's, and 10 of them have red X's. So you'll spread them out. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a super organized grid. It can just be however you want, but you'll want to flip 10 red and 10 green. And then what you're going to tell the kids is you're going to play music, and they're going to flip plates as fast as they can so that the other team's color is their team's color is facing up. So if I'm the green team, I'm trying to get as many of those plates to flip to green as I can. If I'm the red team, I'm trying to get them to flip to red. And then you're just going to stop the music at random times, and when the music stops, whoever has the most of their X's showing is the winner. And then you can just keep playing as long as you have time and as long as the kids are interested. And then you'll just close that down by saying, wow, you guys did a great job of running around and flipping those plates. Do you think you would have been as successful if you had to play with your eyes closed? Probably not. You wouldn't have been able to see which side was the right color. So when we say to be on the lookout for what needs to be done, we really mean to be looking for what needs to be done with our eyes and our ears. So what are some ways you might see and hear things that need to be done? When you walk through the kitchen, what might you see that needs to be done? What about in the halls at school? Let them respond to those questions. Let them think about that and see what they might be able to do. So you might notice the trash needs to be emptied, so you take it outside. Or maybe your teacher, you hear your teacher say that she has a lot of papers to hand out, so you might raise your hand and offer to help. If you weren't paying attention and making sure you're on the lookout, you might miss being able to help in those ways. So then for your memory verse activity, you're going to do something called writing on the wall. And what you're going to do is, where did I put them? There. Every kid is going to get one of these little brick pieces. So that's what those look like. First, you're going to look up Colossians 3:23. So here's a little way to do that. Have kids look at the table of contents and even practice saying the word Colossians. They might not know how to say that. So that's under the New Testament list. So then they'll go to that page and then they'll look for the big 3 and the little 23. So that's the chapter and the verse. And then you're going to read the verse together, practice the hand motions a few times, and then you're going to divide kids into groups of 3 or 4. And you're going to give each group, you don't need to give them an activity page because they're already cut out. So as a group, they're going to work together and they're going to cut the bricks apart. They don't need to do that. And they're going to write one word of the verse on each brick. So each group is going to write a word of the verse on each brick. And then they can color the bricks if they want to, if they get done. And then you're going to bring the groups back together. And we're not going to tape the verses on the wall. That just takes too long and it's a pain in the butt to take off. So they're just going to lay them on the floor and they're going to build their wall on the floor. And they can stack the words so that the complete verse is written on the wall several times. So each group will kind of stack their words like a wall. And you'll just say, so guys, this verse tells us that we should work hard at whatever we do. But we have to be on the lookout for what needs to be done so that we know what work there is to do. We should always make sure that we're not taking shortcuts when we're doing our work, whether it comes to chores or homework or a project, because God tells us that we should act like we're working for Him, and He always deserves our best. So then you have some optional small group discussion questions just about taking initiative. So if you've got some time and your kids are in a chatty mood, maybe you bring a snack along, and while you're eating your snack, they go through these questions. Or maybe you want to grab some goldfish. That's totally fine. We're more than happy to give you goldfish if you think your group can handle it. And then you'll just close with prayer. So you're going to start off with the kids standing and facing a wall, and then ask them what they think Nehemiah might have been nervous about when he left the palace to go build his wall. What do they think he might have been afraid of? And then pray together as a group and ask kids to hold their hand over their eyes like they're visors, and they're shielding their eyes from their sun while they're looking way up at the wall that needs to be rebuilt. And then you can close with this prayer, or you can always say your own. And then just as adults arrive, make sure that every kid